Hello and welcome to the Comicspiracy episode 146. Take two. This is the episode for the week of February 17th, 2014. I'm Ryan, what's my name? Ryan Higgins, yeah, that's it. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Omar.
Why'd you do a take two? They would never have known.
Yeah, you know, it's funny.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Although take one would have been a really great start.
Take one was me screaming, "What the dick?" when our podcast equipment did not start recording after everything was set up properly. So
especially after he hushed us all.
Yeah, well,
me like, okay, everybody be quiet.
And then what the
and then
heck?
nothing happened. Yeah, I mean, I shut down everything, turned it back on, boom, everything's fine now. So there
Nobody's talking. What's happening?
So if this episode dies halfway through, don't blame me. Blame this shitty old laptop we record
And then
on.
imagine Ryan saying, "What the dick?" After.
Yeah. No Bryce this week, so hopefully Omar should be a little more contained. He doesn't have his buddy to play off of. So yeah. Toby.
It's just amazing how Phil Noto, his covers are so incredible that you just have to go get all three of the books that you haven't read yet.
Phil is
it's
awesome.
Absolutely
He's
great
always
book.
been awesome.
I love that book.
Omar has grabbed the first three issues of Black Widow, which has been
a really good book.
It has been a mediocre book with some beautiful art. It has been a mediocre book with rushed Phil Noto art, which is still better than most people's art. It's really mediocre.
I really like it.
It's
Ryan.
It's just Black Widow's doing some
let
stuff.
it be known that Ryan was bitching and moaning on just about everything right before this podcast, so maybe he's still in his mood.
Just tell him to eat a Nightwing.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Hey.
like I agree, Ryan. It's not.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's not grandiose, but it's just okay.
It's okay. It's not Wolverine #1 bad.
Or Winter Soldier bad.
Winter Soldier was good.
It was okay.
I thought Winter Soldier was okay. Yeah. It wasn't awesome, but it was pretty
I like
good.
it how Brock is coming in, being on Ryan's side, and all of a sudden the air crawling on their own. We didn't even have to say anything.
Winter
Well, I just
Soldier
love how
#1.
you went like direct from, it was good. Brock says it was okay. And he's like, it was okay.
Well, it wasn't fantastic, but I liked Winter Soldier 1.
Well, it definitely resonated with. Oh, let's actually give you some Winter Soldier stories since the new Captain in America book.
Yeah, well, okay, hold on. So we're like halfway through kind of this like Marvel, all new Marvel now #1. There's been a bunch of new #1s. We're talking Black Widow really briefly. I mean, some of you guys seem to like it. I didn't. Again, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was okay. Most of these books, I swear, every week someone's like, "What's this all new X-Men #1? Is this a miniseries?" No, it has this big giant #1 on it, but it's the first issue of a new storyline. However, books like Black Widow and Winter Soldier and some of these others Punisher are actually new books. Punisher was really not good. That Punisher #1, why is Punisher in street clothes in LA talking to a cop and smiling? Like, is this a Punisher comic book? Do people not know who he is?
He does like to
Punisher's
have fun with women still. He's still a man.
He's walking around. Punisher's identity is known.
Shirt.
He is like the #1 most wanted person in America.
It's like the Clark Kent glasses. If you don't have your skull shirt on, it's not.
And
Punisher.
he's like smiling and talking to people.
He's trying to be Michael Weston.
I mean, I'd be okay with that if there was a complete retcon of the Punisher. But I'm reading this and I'm like, well, this is an okay book, but it's not the Punisher. What happened in that book?
While I agree with you that it was... See, my general gist of the Punisher book is it just made me want to go back and read Rucka. And that's kind of how I felt after reading that book. But I didn't think it was bad.
No, it was
different.
Like, it was an okay story, but it wasn't the Punisher. Yeah.
I know. When he had the skull shirt on, it was Punisher at least.
And he was doing Punisher thing in LA.
Yeah,
and I like some of the panel layouts
what's
and
kind
stuff.
of on him killing people?
The kind of is him smiling and him
Again
being out in
is
public.
Female, he's a male.
It's the Punisher. He is
Punisher needs love too.
Unless
Maybe he needs to get punished from time to time.
Unless they retconned
the big pun.
Unless they retconned him back into being like no one knows who the Punisher really is.
It's LA. A lot of people look like the Punisher.
I guess Thomas Jane's walking down the street
exactly.
and shit, it's the Punisher.
Well, Thomas Jane's probably walking down the street thinking he is the Punisher and beats people up on the sides without people knowing.
Maybe. So what else was there?
She-Hulk 1 came out.
She-Hulk 1. I haven't read that.
I really like that.
Charlie, Toby, you guys both like that a lot.
So it's really funny because I was at Charlie's house. I don't know why, but I just went there, which I do on occasion. I'll just kind of show up in the middle of the night. And Charlie sent me down. He's like, "Oh, the She-Hulk was really good." And I'm like, "Oh, I love the cover, and I always liked She-Hulk. I always liked the humor. I always liked the book, and I always liked the character." I flipped it up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is up with the art? I just didn't like it."
Are you not reading Daredevil? Same guys.
No,
same main
this is
guy.
uglier.
Same guy.
No, this is uglier.
It is.
Oh, this is uglier.
Okay, well, it's the same guy that did Daredevil.
Well, I'm waiting on my giant hardcover that's like an omnibus without paying for the $35 2-issue book. Anyways,
First 5 pages. When you're hooked on the first 5 pages, that's when you got to pick up a new book.
we're talking Black Widow again.
Black Widow again. Loki #1. I can't believe you guys didn't bring that one up.
I
Lee
didn't read
Garbett.
that.
Oh, what? Dude, and the only reason you don't read it is because it's just too you.
It's too hipster, man.
Too hipster? Really? Oh, I don't know, man.
This new one? Isn't it?
No, not at all. It's totally different from Killian. What's the name? The guy that wrote Young Avengers. It's totally different.
Yeah.
I like the twist at the end.
That was great.
Yeah.
I don't
Twist at the end was interesting.
know.
I always like the combination of Thor and Loki in a book where it's like, I hate you, I love you, we're still buddies and bros. It's just such a great sibling. It's a good reflection of the sibling rivalry.
Well, the only problem I had with the Loki book in general, and they actually explained it in the Loki book, so it kind of played off pretty well, is the way Thor was written in that book, even when he was supposedly cured, did not feel like it meshed up with Thor in any other book I read.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But the twist at the end was good. I like some of what they did with it, so it wasn't something where I was like, I'm never going to read that again. It was just like, I'll give #2 a try.
All right, going back to She-Hulk after
yes.
Omar's hijack here. Anyways, Charlie said it was like the Dan Slott version, which I actually liked, but also I didn't like the art on. So I was like, fuck it, I'll read it. I'll sit down and read it and fucking love it.
Nice.
It was a great book. I
Yeah.
really like it. It was, and I don't think the art is thinking bad anymore. I actually like it. It's one of those where you read it, the art kind of just fits the book. And Charlie totally was on the money right before the book. He was
totally.
like, you just got to read it. And I'm like, cool. I really dug it. I'm looking forward to the next issue.
I'm trying to think what else.
And the lawyer talk is really good in that one, actually.
Well, you know why?
Is the ex-lawyer that wrote it? Or is it current,
He's a current
lawyer?
Yeah.
I like it.
Thunderbolts *1, also by Charles Sewell, was awful. Awful. But Thunderbolts has also been pretty awful past like the first story arc. Ghost Rider joins the team and stuff. Oh, just bad. Just bad.
I know I read it, but I have
No recollection.
seem to have repressed this issue.
Wolverine *1, I know me and Charlie universally,
God.
one of the worst comic books I've read in the last couple of years. Absolutely terrible. I mean, the art's nice. Ryan Stegman's a great artist, but absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
Just made no sense. A bunch of nonsense characters. It wasn't Wolverine. I don't care if Wolverine kills a guy or shoots a guy. That has nothing to do with it. It's just a bad comic book.
Yeah.
Very bad.
It felt very different from any other Wolverine book I've read in a long time. The last time I read Wolverine was, I think, in the end of the first year of Jason Aaron's first run, which I loved, like his first 6 months of it. And then,
then it just
after 6 months just went down. And I haven't been back on a Wolverine book since.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't read X Factor.
besides Uncanny X-Force, of course.
I haven't read X Factor, but I never read any of the previous X Factor, so I'm not going to jump in because it's still just the same.
The only thing I would sort of throw out on X Factor is if you were reading Gambit, read X Factor because it
picks up, right?
It pretty much is the new Gambit book.
Yeah.
Because they even pick up the story arc where Gambit left off in this recent issue. So
That's cool.
Gambit's completely story-wise hijacked that book.
That's cool.
It's not the same writer, though.
No.
No.
But I just find it interesting that...
Yeah, Peter David's written 200 issues of X Factor now.
Yeah.
So
David?
Yeah.
Oh, I like Peter David.
He's incredible.
Maybe I should pay attention.
Yeah.
X-Force, unreadable. Cy Superior, same guy that did X-Men Legacy. I got 5 pages in, and I was like, yep, this is just as terrible as I expected. Beautiful art. Awful, awful comic. Charlie, I think you liked it a little bit more than I did, but...
To me, there's always that thing of it would have to be as bad as Wolverine #1 to get me to stop reading a book with Cable in it.
Dude, but Marrow's in it. Does that not offset the Cable love a little bit?
Marrow is in video games.
To me, I just kind of go into it like,
terrible.
oh, well, this is the first time I've seen Marrow in a long time.
Yeah.
I always get mixed up between Marrow and Blink.
Yeah, they're all
Blink is
90s
cool.
trash.
Hey,
Guardians #1, all new X-Men #1, not #1s.
if I could kick Ryan on the table, I would, but he's too far away.
They're just more issues of Guardians and all new X-Men. Both good
Well,
books.
it's the big crossover.
Just the start of the crossover.
The
They're fine.
Jean Grey. Yeah.
Avengers hasn't had their #1 yet, huh?
Oh, they did the Avengers World.
Yeah, that was awful. Uncanny Avengers hasn't done a number one yet. Invaders that's bad.
Yeah,
those first two issues,
horrid.
I did not
it's
like.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I wanted to love them.
It's like the Shield of comic books. We got to go find some technology.
Maybe. I'm really excited for.
Well, no, they have some weird sort of memory thing going on from World War II.
But they're still looking for technology.
It just doesn't feel. I don't know if they're looking for any technology. It just doesn't feel modern. I guess maybe it's just the Invaders, so it's never going to. It just doesn't feel like it fits with what these characters have been through or what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I love James Robinson. But this was just like, what the hell? So I'm hoping FF is his book. I mean, I think that's a book that he could do a lot with. So Invaders, I was like, if it's good, it's good. If not, I could skip it. I don't care about Invaders. But I read the first two and I'm like, this is bad. What else?
Did any of you hear the radio ad for All New Marvel Now?
No.
I heard it over the weekend.
What station? Like on
the one I was listening to was KRTY.
Okay.
So they played on the country station.
Oh, cool.
It was hilarious because they were advertising the all-new X-Men #1 Trial of Jean Grey and stuff, and then they advertised that Wolverine #1 issue, and I'm like, oh my god.
That's kind of odd marketing. It's like me watching NBA and then Farmers Only comes on.
That happens all the time, though.
It
Right?
was, yeah,
It's like how many farmers are watching NBA?
Yeah, no one.
it was basically kind of just it was more of a push to like the Marvel app, reading through the Marvel app, and then they're like, oh, you can go to the Marvel website and look up your local comic book store. You know, not like you can type comic book store and the GPS will tell you there's one next to you on Google.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did nothing for me.
Well, I mean, we had when the New 52 stuff came out, because it was all kind of a 1 month, we had sort of a couple of big episodes that we sat down and really talked about every book. I feel with, again, DC's newer output and then with the Marvel Now and All New Marvel Now, they're all basically what I expected. The same creative teams that sucked previously suck on the new book. The books that didn't renumber are just the same as they were before. Nothing's changed. I mean, like X-Men has a #1. Like it's still the middle of a previous storyline, but they're calling it the first, like just X-Men. The women
Isn't
X-Men.
Daredevil getting relaunched with the same team?
Yeah, and it's just going to be this continuation of what was happening. So these books don't feel.
Still a
But that's a real #1, though.
It is, yeah. But I mean,
it's actual #1.
But it's the same team, same story arc, or same storylines and everything. So he's moving to San Francisco.
In about 3 weeks, I'm going to come here. Is this the actual #1? Or is this an actual #1?
Yeah. I mean, most of these books, again, the books I expected would be good are mostly decent. The ones I was kind of on the fence about are bad. And that's sounds about right. So, I mean, we still have a lot that have to come out. Wolverine and the X-Men have to come out, and that's actually getting like a legitimate creative team shift and a lot of changes, so that should be cool. I still haven't read Ms. Marvel. I'm waiting for those second prints to come in, but I know mixed reactions to that.
Just to bring it up again, the previous Wolverine and the X-Men run's getting a fabulous omnibus.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Actually very affordably priced.
Very, very good book.
Looking forward to that.
I liked all the social media around Ms. Marvel,
Babs.
though. Everyone taking pictures and posting it. That was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute.
There is no doubt about it. It was very successful in Comixology. We sold through a very decent order of it here. I had a couple people coming in afterwards looking for it. I am just, as always, I'll see who comes in for #2.
Yeah, it just seems to me like it was a lot more hyped.
Yeah.
Obviously, from the beginning.
I mean,
the
hyped
get-go.
than any other Marvel book currently. So there
Yeah.
was a legitimate demand for that. But I'll be curious for going forward.
I was just going to say, but a lot of the hype around that book, I don't feel like was coming directly from Marvel. It was
Well, no,
everything around
I mean, it was. I mean, some of the Toby, you are breathing your nose into
Actually,
the microphone.
stopped breathing
Thank
like a
you.
minute ago.
I know, but I was just telling you because you were not. Yeah, thank you. Learn signals, Toby. Thank you.
Stop breathing when you gave me the signal.
Okay. We'll just move back from the microphone.
I hope this is edited out.
Oh no, I'm gonna totally leave this in. I gotta teach Toby. I gotta shame him publicly. So it's like a dog, you know. Do you see those dog shaming videos that people have?
Right.
That's those dog shaming
Is he calling
pictures.
me Ryan's bitch? He is that bitch.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop doing it. I'm just gonna stop editing the stuff out now until you guys learn. You have to do 146 of these fucking things. You'd think you'd learn, but maybe not. So anyway,
See,
did anyone read Captain Marvel not #1? Has anyone even bothered going?
Is that
back
even
to
out
that?
yet?
Yeah.
evidently not.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, Captain Marvel?
Captain America not #1.
Oh,
Oh,
Captain America.
Captain America.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the same team, right?
Yes, I did read that. That was okay.
Just
Nothing
same as-
spectacular.
yeah. All right.
Remembering Captain America, it's just an oxymoron to me. It just doesn't make any sense.
Can we go to Batman yet?
Why don't we build up to Batman? Batman's kind of the big
Batman
news
was
this week.
awesome. Spoilers.
Well, we got a few other things to talk about here this week. We'll get to Batman. We'll get to Batman.
I thought we're in comic book talk right now.
We are.
Okay.
We are. Well, there's a couple news stories, and then we'll get to Batman because that's the new one that just came out. I figure we'll get this Marvel stuff out of the way and move on to the
we gotta
DC
go through
stuff.
the trash first and then get to the good stuff.
Hey, be
I didn't
equal
say that.
here, man.
I
We
said,
gotta
yeah.
stay
Marvel.
we gotta-
Marvel, yeah. So another number one that's coming is Amazing Spider-Man number 1, by Dan Slott and Ramon Perez.
Didn't we already talk about this?
We did, but we didn't talk about Learning to Crawl. The Amazing Spider-Man.
Digital.
I don't think it's a digital book.
Is it teaching kids how to be climbing up walls?
Learning to Crawl is not a digital book, is it? If it's a digital book, I won't talk about it. It's a 5-issue monthly flashback story in Amazing Spider-Man number 1.1 through 1.5.
Okay,
same
maybe there's
times.
something else.
There is a digital Spidey book, but I don't think that's this. I don't. Yeah, no, this is not a digital only book.
Okay.
No. So while Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, and 4 are coming out,
Because he ain't got wings.
If you're reading the story, it's probably just the fact that he's still going to have memory issues.
well, no, Amazing Spider-Man Learning to Crawl 1.1, 1.2, 0.3, and 0.5 will be coming out the same times as those other issues. So there's going to be 2 issues of Spider-Man, one being numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the other being numbered 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. Marvel, I'm going to kill whoever invented your numbering system. Stop it. Stop it. It's stupid. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Okay? Thank you, Marvel. Stop it. Okay. Thank you. Now moving on. What this is about is a retelling of the first couple days, or actually about the first month or so, after Amazing Fantasy number 15. So it goes back and takes a look at the first couple, I think it says the first 60 days or so. So it's the first 2 months after he becomes Spider-Man, but before Spider-Man number 1. So Alex Ross doing covers, so Charlie will purchase. And yeah, so there you go. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to tie in with current stuff, I would assume, because I think it's just sort of like a bit of a retelling of events and a bit of a year zero, if you will, a little 0 year.
I wonder if they're going to decompress a little bit the time between him getting bitten and fully accepting responsibility.
Well, there's an interview with Dan Slott on Comic Resources, and if I can find the exact quote, it's a story that takes place. Let's see, everything that happened in Learning to Crawl you can consider canon. This happened, and it tells a story that takes place the second after Amazing Fantasy 15 ends. So the closing shot of Amazing Fantasy 15 is Peter Parker walking into the distance, having learned the lesson of great power and great responsibility. So the opening of this series is Peter Parker walking towards us. So the camera's on the other side as he is wondering, now that his life has changed, what does he do next? So that is... So while Peter is coming back and figuring out what happened while he was gone, we'll also be seeing a little look at what he did at the very beginning. So, it's been a good book. Superior Spider-Man's been fantastic. I'm nervous about Amazing Spider-Man because I'm almost I don't want Peter back.
Well, I'm...
At least not yet.
Okay, I guess spoilers, just because I'll put the spoiler tag on this now if you haven't been reading Superior. The way they have been sort of setting this up of sort of Peter still being around in Otto's mind is Otto successfully wiped large chunks of Peter's memories. So I'm really curious to see, even though Peter's back, how much will Peter actually remember?
Well, I read an interview with Dan Slott a little while ago that sounded like he's not going to have any memory of what he did during Superior Spider-Man. So he's going to come out and just be like, oh, what the fuck happened while I was gone? So it's him learning kind of all the stuff at the same point. I think he'll remember his own past.
Okay.
That's how I read it. I just don't think he knows what happened.
I'm just questioning it because the Peter in Otto's mind right now that's starting to
knows
dominance.
Stuff. Right.
Yes, but he only knows sort of key events where either Otto and his memories intersected, or sort of events that Otto specifically had already recalled from his history, so he can sort of remember through Otto.
So is this how we cut out a big chunk of Peter's backstory by having him not remember, therefore it never happened?
That's what I'm curious. I'm really curious to know.
Brand new day 2.
Basically.
Or maybe another way to introduce people that weren't reading the book, as I wasn't, because Spider-Man got really stale and lame, reintroduce him to what is canon in a new way by new artists and new creators, similar to what we saw in New 52. I don't know.
If they want to jettison one more day and they want to jettison a bunch of garbage, I mean, I'm fine with that. But they could do that without all this mind wiping of the character. You just don't ever mention it again, or you just pretend it doesn't happen, or you straight up contradict it in the story, and therefore it never happened. I don't think
I'm
you need
just
to go
thinking
through
about in terms of, so Spidey, as time has gone on, he's learned all these supervillain secret identities. He's learned all the tricks to beat them whenever he kind of comes across them. He knows what equipment to bring or not to bring.
Right.
So it sort of sets the stage for sort of relearning how to be Spider-Man in a sense.
Yeah, but that feels like a wicked bad depowering of him and just rehashing of, I got to learn how to beat Sandman again. Like,
Man,
I got to get the vacuum cleaner.
All that time I spent with Iron Fist practicing, learning karate moves and stuff is gone to waste.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Also, Spider-Man news. Something Toby may like a little bit better. According to the most recent issue of Superior Spider-Man, it sounds like Spider-Man 2099 is getting his own ongoing series.
About time. I mean, where the hell is it at? I mean,
yeah,
you would think that they would have this in transit already with how they
probably want to launch Amazing first, and then what's his name? His name. Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, all they had to do was look at how well the Beyond books are doing for DC and say, "Oh, wait a minute,
those issues of Superior Spider-Man were very popular issues where he came back." So,
yeah, I'm a little surprised that they didn't get something going with him right away, because after that crossover with Superior, he primarily vanished except for a couple of scenes here and there that he's popped up in the book recently. But they have really not done anything with him.
Well, they full on set up the future of 2099. I mean, they made the whole company that he's basically fighting. Not Roxxon. What's it called? The big. I can't remember.
No.
Something like that. The big company that he's fighting against in 2099.
Yeah.
They've set up the start of it already. So.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
I would like it.
Yeah, don't you like Spidey 2099?
I've never read one issue.
Really?
He's just looking at he was looking at you and thinking Asian, and it was actually me. That's when
I thought you liked it too. No, I mean I know Omar liked it, but I thought you liked it too.
I moved.
I liked it.
I moved here.
That's
I moved here.
Anything that was animated, you love.
It just happened, and I never got into it. I mean, I like the way he looks, but beyond that, I know nothing about it.
Huh? I thought you had read that.
See, this is why we leave this stuff in and don't edit it out.
Oh, Alchemex. That's the name of the company. Yeah, Alchemex.
Damn it! I thought it was.
You guys are both
Skynet.
kind of right. Roxxon, Alchemex.
Yeah, it's all connected. Well, Toby,
What happened?
do you like Cyclops?
It's okay.
Do you like Corsair?
I don't know who that is.
That's Cyclops'
His
dad. That's in the Starjammers.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you not know who that is?
No, Quasar.
No,
Corsair?
Corsair.
He looks like a beard, long hair,
Yeah, pirate.
gold.
Corsair,
like,
Cyclops'
little,
dad.
He has a sword.
Space pirate dad.
Yeah.
That's Cyclops' dad.
Yeah.
And Havoc's dad.
Yeah.
And what's their other brother's name?
That guy.
Vulcan?
Yeah.
Vulcan? Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Or Gambit.
Do you like
That was like a rumor early on.
Greg Rucka?
Yes.
Okay, so at least you like one of these three things.
Yeah.
Are you going to read this new?
I like them all.
This new Greg Rucka written Young Cyclops and Corsair series that he's writing.
Maybe.
I thought
prefer
Greg
him
Rucka.
I prefer him coming back to Punisher.
I thought Greg Rucka was done with Marvel and DC, but apparently he's writing a
cares? Be
Young
happy.
Cyclops and Corsair.
We have a great writer writing Marvel
Series.
again. What's wrong with this?
I'm not. It's why is
Stop whining.
No.
Stop whining. Read the first issue.
I am-
Actually, read the first 6.
I am perfectly fine with Greg Rucka coming back. I really enjoy all
Reading
new
first
X-Men.
issue doesn't do
Hold
spot for
on.
Ryan.
I really enjoy all new X-Men. I like both of these characters and the writer, and I like everything about this. I will definitely read it. But two things. One, I thought Rucker was done with Marvel and DC, but,
Who
paycheck.
cares?
But,
Be happy.
But paycheck. And two, I thought, why in the world would any of the all-new X-Men characters, the kids, get their own series? That feels so, is he getting jettisoned out of all-new X-Men? Is he leaving the team? I mean, they're kind of setting it up that way.
I'm guessing this is going to spin off of what's going on in the Trial of Jean Grey book, because they brought Corsair into that. All the X-Men are up there.
But
and so, yeah, it's just a spin-off book.
But that feels weird. Does anyone want a young Cyclops series?
So
By Rucka?
here's the. I was going to say,
I'll
if you
read
just put it that way, the answer is no. But the minute you put Rucka in there, my answer is yes.
No one wanted a Cyclops series. Who wants a young Cyclops? Like, it feels like such a bizarre book for. I mean, maybe they're like, no one's going to buy it unless we get someone big to write it. So, Greg Rucka, please come back and write this book for us. Otherwise, Ben just can't. He doesn't have the time. So that's all I could think.
So
I don't get this book.
Basically, they're forking out a ton of money to write a miniseries.
I think it's ongoing,
I'll read
which is maybe even a little more bizarre.
a young Gambit series with Rucka in New Orleans where Gambit's like stealing things and doing the Thieves Guild and all that stuff. I would read that in a heartbeat.
Wasn't that out a while ago?
That was like one issue.
Really?
It was like the X-Men Origins numbers, whatever issue. That was a good issue, though. I really like that.
I could see Greg Rucka doing a really good Gambit series.
Yeah,
I
so
could
too.
see that.
I think so too, especially like a young Gambit, whereas before Gambit,
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll
What do you think
totally
about
do that.
potentially having Magic Mike be Gambit?
hell no.
Why not?
Hell no.
He'll have a dance
Hell
sequence
no.
and everything.
Hell no. Hell no. Actually, I really like Channing Tatum. He's a great guy, and everybody I know that has worked with him, nobody says anything back.
We just
Like,
call him Chan.
Sure. All right. Everybody likes him. He's a good guy and everything, but no, not as Gambit. I'm sorry, dude.
Anyway, this Rucka book. I guess I'm excited for it, but I just find it weird that they're doing like a solo kid Cyclops series. I can't wrap my head around
With his
that.
dad.
But if it's good, I guess I don't care. If it's good, I love the Starjammers. I love Corsair. I love those guys. They're great. I was actually when Bendis when Brubaker did X-Men. That was one of my favorite runs of X-Men outside like the Morrison stuff because the Starjammers and the Shi'ar. That's a Kree. That was great. That was great stuff.
Yeah, I read those Rise and the Fall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good stuff. Yep, but I don't know.
Don't hate.
I'm not. Toby,
What? Me again. I'm
Batman-
on the hot seat today.
Batman
Don't worry.
28.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You've been wanting to talk about this.
That's awesome. Actually, I have to thank Charlie because I would have gone unnoticed.
wow.
Well, you know, when Ryan tells me on the iChat, go, hey, man, this book is out, Dustin's on. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool, Dustin, I'm in. And then Ryan says a bunch of stuff that I kind of tune out because I generally think it's hate. So I just ignored it. Then Charlie calls me. He
About
goes,
Batman 28?
Yeah, you did. You on Chatter.
I was like, you were going to love this.
Yeah,
How
but-
could he read that as hate?
No, I just kind of tuned it out because I thought you were just going to hate on stuff. Blah, 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 fucking is stupid, blah, blah, blah.
I haven't hated the last 27 issues
It
of Batman.
doesn't matter. You know, a lot of stuff is usually by Toby and then it's followed by a bunch of hate talk, usually. So I just ignored it
Charlie's
all.
giving me the look.
So are
I
you
don't hate-
actually current on everything with 0 Year?
No,
What kind of question is that?
I'm a couple issues back, but is
Okay,
is
so
is it
current on
bad?
flipping through.
so well,
Okay,
0 Year is going on too long.
Yeah, sure,
I'll
sure.
I'll just
okay.
sort of flat
the
out say
first
that.
21 issues of Batman were really good.
Well, that's actually what I was wondering. I'm
Yeah.
wondering when you say you have had no hate for up to 27. I'm like, okay, so how many of these have you actually read for that statement?
Well, Okay, I don't know. Go because you're talking about the 0 Year or 0 Year, whatever.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in the Bat family books, the big problem that I have is it seems like Batman was initially kind of the book that's establishing who Batman is currently and what's going on with him, and then like Batman and Anne was supposed to help with, incorporating Damian and Nightwing and all these characters. So it was kind of like the support book for Batman. And then Detective was kind of just on its own.
Awesome, especially when Layman took over.
Yeah. It was on its own, but it was like you were getting these stories happened around the same similar time. And then with like 0 Year drops in Batman and all these other books get affected. And so you're jumping back in time now. And then these books jump back for 1 month to whatever story they had before 0 Year. And then now everything is crossing over with Detectives Gothtopia and Batman.
But just for
isn't-
one issue, too.
But Batman finished 0 Year and then now has jumped to the future.
But it hasn't
No.
finished 0 Year.
Yeah, this is a one-shot special issue.
It's a spoiler issue.
and then
okay.
and then 0 Year
is back.
it comes back next issue for the end of its
Okay,
last
'cause
four
it just-
issues.
So it's just 4 more issues of 0 Year?
It should be 11 total, right?
I thought it was
I have no
11 or
clue.
12.
They did a whole
Well,
year of
there's an-
0 Year?
Yeah.
A whole year of 0 Year.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that.
28 was 28 originally was going to be just another issue, but it's another double-sized issue because they just keep adding it. They wanted to. It's 11 issues, but it's really like 13 or 14 because they've had a couple of these double-sized issues, and so they put in Batman 28, which was a Batman Eternal like preview issue That's the upcoming weekly series that's starting. So this issue, I don't know at what point in Eternal this takes place, but this will be referenced at some point in Batman Eternal. May even straight up be reprinted. I don't know how they're going to do it, but kind of two fairly significant things happen in this issue.
Yes. Well, let me go back to my story. So Charlie calls, and of course I actually pay attention. And he goes, Toby, did you read the book yet? And my phone is bad. I'm like, shit, I'll just come over. I went over to his house, and he just kind of jumped in my face, and I read it. I'm like, this is awesome. Charlie?
Okay.
Is that it? Or okay.
Well, I figure I'll let him do the spoil because he spoiled it for me. There's a lot of spoiler talk. I'm going somewhere to spoiler thing.
Yes.
Okay. So Batman
Waffles.
28 just blew me away on a lot of levels. One, because it was such a refreshing thing after how long 0 years been going on. I'm sorry to harp on that, but this issue made me kind of want them to just end 0 year and get straight to this already.
And fresh is what I felt this book was like also. When I read it, it was like, this feels fresh, this feels fun, this feels new, this feels just freaking cool.
And they firmly establish Harper Row as Bluebird, the new sidekick in this issue. They bring Stephanie Brown back into New 52 as Spoiler.
Spoiler?
And Catwoman's running the Gotham Underground world now, and that was just effing awesome.
So
She was badass, too.
I'm hoping that means a direction and
has one.
creative team shift in Catwoman coming up. Because Catwoman's been dreadful.
I'm assuming that because right now Batman and Catwoman are kind of synonymous with what's going on in Detective and Forever Evil and everything else. So they're hinting at a huge falling out coming out of this stuff. So,
well, most of a bunch of the crime families and stuff in Forever Evil were killed off, right? In the last issue,
the Syndicate have been having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so they end up having some of the guys taking over, but Owlman is they killed a ton of them, or gotten rid of a ton of the crime families. Yeah. So there will be someone post Forever Evil that needs to take over, and if it's Catwoman, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
and
but it's just in the issue there were a lot of sort of back and forth between Batman and Catwoman, hinting at there was some pretty big falling out.
Yeah, I'm assuming the start of Eternal is going to be a lot of this, and Harper Row being the new Robin is, I think, what everyone expected. So that's cool. Even though she's not Robin, but that's fine. Whatever. Bluebird's cool. Cool costume. Dustin.
Designed by Dustin?
Yeah. Great look. Yeah. And spoiler, I don't know what her New 52 kind of beats are going to be, but some people like her. So I like Spoiler. She's cool. I like Stephanie. She's neat.
Actually, who do you guys think is the fake Oracle? Because there's Carrie Kelly is the rumor that's going around.
I could see that.
It would make sense with the way that they built her up a little bit with the Batman and other book.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Eternal. Really looking forward to what they're doing there.
Yes, me too. I'm very, very excited. It was an excellent book. Felt very fresh. I was very happy with it.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I thought a while back that Robin may get his own series, especially at the end of the cancellation of Teen Titans. But now I'm wondering if they're going to give either Bluebird or Spoiler her own book. I think that would be if DC wanted to kind of up their female-based characters a little bit and kind of expand out a little bit, I could see that. I mean, I hope Robin gets his own book with Teen Titans being over, or at least they relaunch Titans. But I could see them definitely giving either of those characters their own book if they prove successful enough in Eternal and in the Batman.
That's what I was going to say. As long as they build up the characters properly before trying to spin off to their own book, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, because, especially with this issue, I know when I read through it and I got to the end, the first thought I had was, did Toby read this? But it literally just drops you into the middle of, well, where did she come from? What's the back story here? What's her New 52?
Right.
So it's like
this is the middle of Eternal.
Yeah, this is so we don't have anything with her, so we'll see where that comes out and stuff. So.
I just like the fact it's a spoiler issue about Spoiler. It just worked really, really well.
I just like the fact that I was harassing Ryan while he was recording Geekbox, making sure that I got a chance to talk to him about this issue as soon as he was done.
Yep. What is that it? Is that our comic talk? That's all
that was a lot of comic talk, though.
That's all our major comic talk.
As it should be.
Toby.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the
I'm
hot
on
seat
the
again.
hot seat again.
You are.
What's
You've
going on
done
today?
a lot of stuff.
Well, you've been doing a very good job of passing the hot seat around when
Yeah.
it starts.
All
with you.
right. I'll
We'll start
continue
with
it.
you.
Okay.
Lego.
Yes.
You like them.
It's the best thing in the world.
You saw a movie about them.
It's the best thing in the world.
George Oscar Bluth Sr. is Batman.
Yeah. And the 21 Jump Street is Hal Jordan and Superman.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yes.
Did you like this movie?
Yes, I liked it very much. So.
Cool.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job.
I've heard from, not to interrupt, I've heard from everyone that the Lego movie is amazing.
Yeah, it is really, really well done. You're going in there, and it's a fairly you right away. It's really funny because with Lego, with the way they advertise everything and how they want you to build everything the way they do on the boxes, and it's really funny that this movie is exactly about how kids should play it, is take everything apart and make your own things about it, and have your own imagination about it, mix and match things, who cares? Build a spaceship with pirate parts, who cares? And I thought that was really, really cool. I just find it funny that now you could buy things that basically you build as a kid, but it's an actual set now that you buy with, intermixed parts and stuff like that.
Well, they also have the submission thing that they've done over the past few years, where people are able to submit stuff they've built to make Lego sets out of it. That's how the Back to the Future set got made. And
Some of the licensed stuff from there.
I remember playing Legos as a kid, and I enjoyed it up until the point where there was one or two pieces missing.
Of course.
And I got so frustrated because there was no place to go and say, can I get the piece, please? So
Don't
and
follow the
now
rule
there's
books.
the Lego store.
yeah,
Yes.
now there's a Lego store.
Well, I'm one that never followed the rule books as is anyways. I just kind of built my own crap the minute I got it.
Well, I wanted to
Yeah.
build it first, just to build it and see, boom, it's done. And then I wanted to take it apart and build my own thing. But if I didn't get to the building it completely, I was like, well, fuck, I don't care anymore.
Anyways, going back to the movie. Excellent movie. The storyline was really cool. Spoiler, can I say this?
Well, hold on.
Does she come in there?
Hold on. For Brock, it is Job, not the father.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
didn't say it.
Batman. Yeah,
I know.
No, just confirm.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I do a spoiler on the Lego movie here?
Sure.
Why not? It's been
Yeah.
out for like a week or
Yeah.
All right.
few weeks.
No, it the end has a really nice Toy Story kind of twist to it, and that was really, really well done. I thought. I liked some of the themes behind it, and some of the stuff hit me quite a bit. I was like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have kids touch some of this stuff anyways, but playing with the kids probably makes more sense. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was cool. Batman stole the show in the movie the whole time. Especially when they were building stuff, and Batman was like, I only want black bricks. Occasionally, I will use the very, very, very dark gray pieces. I thought that was really, really funny.
Nice.
So, no, very, very good job. And
Yeah, I think kind of came out of nowhere for most people. I hadn't heard anything about
I'm actually
this.
kind of curious how they made it, because it looks very stop motiony, but then yet I think there's some
It's all
CG.
computer.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it all CG?
computer.
Okay, but
Except for those scenes when it crosses
okay.
dimensions.
Okay.
But I had no idea that all this DC stuff was in it. Like, this came out of nowhere for me, at least. If they had promoted this like that, I missed it completely.
I mean,
Oh, you got Maria Hill playing Wonder Woman?
yeah, that was the other one, right? That was the other one.
No, I mean, I didn't see any ads for it until literally it was on TV advertising for it. I mean, I've heard great things about it. I'll pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out, but
I don't know. I've been aware of it for a while. Not that
Yeah, me
they
too.
did a huge push behind it, but just it was out there, and especially Lego booth at Comic-Con and stuff definitely had some stuff promoting it. And
Yeah, that was coming and stuff.
But I mean, when I think Lego movie, I'm like, it's just some direct-to-DVD.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like the
Trash,
tiger
so.
thing.
no, this was
Ninja
real
sets.
solid.
Yeah.
yeah, but the amount of money that CGI kids movies are making nowadays.
Well, besides the fact that in 2 weekends it's made $200 million, that is bonkers.
Well, you make a good movie, you
Well,
gonna make some money.
Right. I mean, that is ridiculous that it's made so much
We
money
couldn't-
so
come on,
quickly.
we got-
Is that
Morgan
Alison
Freeman
Brie?
in it.
Is that from Community? Is it Alison
Yeah.
Brie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She plays Unikitty, which is an excellent character in there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they kind of went all out for this, which is great. I mean, that's fantastic.
And they have a lot of inside jokes. I think Batman says something at the end, like when he breaks up with the girl and lets her go to the main character. He says something like, "You're the one. You deserve."
He is the hero you deserve.
Yeah. I was like, and that was funny because I'm the only one in the theater laughing, so you could tell that I'm the only one there as a comic book nerd. Like, oh shit, I'm the only one laughing. None of the kids got it.
Yeah, sure, of course.
That's okay. I love the Batman song.
Oh yeah.
That was Elizabeth Banks' character. Right?
Yes.
So they're good. I also, as a guy that grew up in the 80s, I'm really happy some of the old school characters are in there, like the Spaceman. I'm like, fuck yeah, that was my Spaceman. That's my Spaceman.
No, they had great cameos since Lego owns.
Shaq
but
is
has
in it?
massive
We have to
amounts
talk
of
All-Star soon,
properties.
Yeah.
They have their little Star Wars cameo, Turtles cameo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Ninja
Simpsons
Turtles is in
cameo.
it. But the funny thing is, so I'm like looking at the rights issue. I'm going, okay, all the DC characters are in there. Okay, I'm not going to see any Spider-Man, Captain America. But yet the fucking Millennium Falcon comes flying and Harrison Ford is there talking with Chewbacca. I'm like, that's Disney right there. Why can't Marvel characters be in there too then?
This has probably been in development long enough. They may have already signed contracts.
Yeah.
For those of you that aren't into just watching movies and are into reading books, one of the brain trusts behind a lot of the Lego films that's connected to DC properties, Michael Uslan, who's also the executive producer of all the Dark Knight films, was the executive producer of this film, and that's probably why a big reason why Batman was such a big star. I would highly suggest a memoir book that Michael Uslan wrote. It's called The Boy Who Loved Batman. So I met the guy. I'm friends with his son. Super cool family. They're all love. They're very non-LA for those that, and they're a big part of it. But yeah, check that book out.
That's cool. I know Lego, you mentioned Simpsons. They're having an all Lego episode coming up, probably in some conjunction with the movie.
Millhouse made a cameo in this as a Simpsons Lego.
Yes, nice. Yeah, so I've never been a huge Lego fan. I mean, I played with them when I was kids, but I never kept up with them. I never stuck around. And I was stuck with them. I mean, they have so many now, but I just...
Did you see the Simpsons house they put out recently?
Oh. Wait, that's not out yet. They just announced it, right?
No, it's in Lego stores already.
What?
How much? It's 200?
200.
The house looks cool. The Simpsons look bad. I don't like their open eyes.
I think that's done on purpose. I think you're going to rebuy them in individual sets. You buy it for the house, and then you buy the characters.
That's smart.
I mean, they look great.
Yeah.
But the design, if anyone has seen them, they have like
the Garfield eyes.
Yeah, their eyes are half closed.
Yeah.
And the Simpsons never look
Call
like
it white
that.
out, man. Just take some white out.
Speaking of Toy
Maybe.
Fair, New York Toy Fair, coming up.
Sure.
And Legos, isn't there going to be a Ghostbuster?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The only thing I'm mad about is the building is not part of it. The building would have been...
Oh, it'll come, right?
Oh, no, not necessarily, because it's a license and it's super expensive. So,
Really?
well, especially when... I mean, Star Wars, they have a lot of them. Ninja Turtles, they have a full set. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, I don't know. I really want that building to come because it will fit right into the Green Grocer.
Oh, they have to have the
stuff.
headquarters.
Yeah.
Well, the annoying thing about the headquarters thing is going back to what we were talking about in terms of fan-submitted projects.
Yeah.
So
the guy
this
who did
started as a fan-submitted project that had the car, had the building, had the Ghostbusters. And when they greenlit it, they did greenlit it just for the car and the
four
Ghostbusters.
not the building itself. Although for the Lego fans out there, there's a site called the Fire Brigade. It's like 1942 firehouse. I feel like it has all the pieces you need to build the Ghostbuster building, so I'm very tempted to pick that up. So yeah, I've been researching that for quite a little bit there.
Nice. Oh, well, we got a couple questions here, but one of them was from Stefano, who actually emailed me earlier in the week, who writes in this podcast a lot, who asked me to talk about this preaching outside the choir, why comics need to advertise article that was on Bleeding Cool this week. I also got another... Wait,
what's the question?
He sent me a question. She said basically, "Hey, are you guys going to talk about this on the podcast?"
And Ryan didn't inform us to read this article, so
of course not.
Probably only Charlie and Ryan.
Or maybe he did. I just ignored it. It might be my own fault.
I saw the article, read a little of it, rolled my eyes, and moved on.
I did the same, and I'll explain why. Cameron on Twitter asked, "Any chance of our, I guess, retailer talk becoming a weekly segment?" I thought we did it often enough, so I always talk about retailer crap.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not a segment. It's just we talk about retailer stuff on here because we all
That's our thing.
We all in some fashion or another work here at the store. So
or just come in and have a key.
yeah, I would like to kind of wrap up our episode here and maybe get a question or two in. But I do want to talk about this article because I read most of it, but I got the gist by about halfway through. This is an article written by this is Dan Wickline, and this is Joe Mulvery. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's this is Joe Mulvery. Posted on February 15th, 2014 by Dan Wickline. Joe Mulvery writes for Bleeding Cool. My name is Joe Mulvey. So there are 3 names. I'm assuming a misspelling of one of these names twice. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't know what this guy's name is.
Okay.
But
just call him Joe.
There is a long article about advertising comic books in various fashions. Brock very aptly was just talking about hearing the Marvel radio ad. This guy had worked for a company. This is Maximum Comics, but I think that's the name of a store. He worked for a Comics Tribe. It's a comic company, and did a book called Scam. They, with a little bit of got a little bit of headlines. Actually had a full-on billboard in Las Vegas for this comic book. Yeah,
for a comic book.
Yeah, the comic book takes place in Vegas. It's like, what if you had superpowers in Vegas? So it's about this kind of con artist guy, superpower con artist guy in Vegas. So an interesting concept, and it's great this guy went on and got a billboard for this. But, when I think traditional advertisements and everything like that, it's tough. When multi-billion-dollar movies don't cause the Avengers comic to increase to, any more than 60,000 units of sales, what good is an ad in some magazine or on a website?
No, but I'm guessing this is an indie publisher?
Is an indie publisher, right.
I think they're better off, and it's probably way more to their advantage, is to maybe buy pizza for every podcast that's doing a podcast and go, hey, give us 2 cents on this, or give us all issues about it. I think that's a better way for them to go. So you're talking directly to the peoples, right? As opposed to a bunch of people that want to go strippers at Las Vegas.
So in this specific example, the guy micro-distributed the comic. They sold about 1,000 copies over 20 retailers, right?
Yeah,
Targeted specific retailers.
Yeah.
And then they got enough money to put this in Diamond and got... They said 10 times as many, so 200 stores ordered their book.
Okay,
which is still 10% of the retailers out there. And then it was successful or not, it doesn't matter, because now they're going to Kickstarter, which is its own completely own
different beast.
thing. Right.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with selling in comic book stores, right?
It's a different beast completely.
Right. It has no relation. And that basically will cause, if I see something advertised like Kickstarter, I'm not going to order it for the store, because anyone that wants it got it through Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been burned 2 or 3 times by books.
Totally. Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, this was on Kickstarter? Oh. And then Girl Genius by Phil Foglio being the most recent example, I lost almost every single one of my pre-orders because everyone that wanted it bought it on Kickstarter. So by the time we got it in, everyone canceled their order. So I will order 0 copies of this book going forward. So congratulations, Phil Foglio. You just lost a bunch of sales.
Wasn't Five Ghosts Kickstarter?
That is a rare example of they Kickstarted it and then Image actually published it. There was no comic previous to that. So that's kind of an example where Kickstarter works, because Image picked it up.
How was it rewarded though?
I'm assuming
people just get the Image books.
I'm assuming that's how it worked.
Interesting.
So that they actually got, because all the other crap I don't care, but I don't believe Five Ghosts actually came out in any form previous to the Image series. Image got them to publish them through then, but you still have to deal with the printing and having money during all this time. So that is a case where
I just would assume because I want to say it was probably a successful Kickstarter, so I'm assuming they still had some sort of fulfillment they had to go through there.
I could check. I'm sure it is. But
how much does a billboard cost? That's a good dime too. Yeah. I'm just saying how many pizzas you could have bought for how many podcasts, and say this has been sponsored by this specific book.
Or at least,
I mean, I would probably almost go check it out just based if I'm listening to someone's podcast and it's been sponsored. I would at least go, maybe take a look, not buy it, but at least go take a look at the website maybe. I might be 1 out of 10 people, maybe.
So, Five Ghosts, the original Kickstarter was in April of 2012. That is early Kickstarter. If this came out now, it would be a very different subject. They got 3,000
graphic novel at this point.
They got $3,036 out of their initial $2,000 goal. So, this is back in the day when people had Kickstarters for $2,000. Now it would be $150,000 because that's how Kickstarter works now. So I'm going to kickstart this podcast for $150,000 and pay up, or I'll complain on Tumblr about it. So my issue here is I don't think a small press. I could see you getting maybe a little extra traction, but if you're advertising and the stores still don't carry your book, where are they going to buy it? Direct sales, obviously, that's hard to track. We have no idea unless people publicly talk about direct sales. If you're a small press book, your best advertisement, quote unquote, I think, is just doing a webcomic. It's free. It's advertisement. And then you kickstart and you sell your books your own way. Because
do the hardcover,
Right. The stores are just going to do whatever. I mean, you can publish it if you want.
Do you think Marvel and DC should advertise their comic books before the movie?
Well,
and say go to your local comic book shop, maybe?
They can't.
Why not?
When they
don't want to spend money?
It's not that. A lot of times they actually can't. DC had an ad at the end of at the end of Green Lantern.
Okay.
And that was from what DC has kind of stated, it was very, very difficult. In front of the Harry Potter movies, they can't have advertisements for Harry Potter books. Because
the studios don't want
they don't want this sort of mixed. The companies won't. The studios won't. It's too expensive. It's it just doesn't make sense to advertise that way.
Is they don't want people to read.
Well,
so
people that read will watch the movie anyway. But.
I mean, if I had an ad in front of the movie theater here that might
more about
work
the store,
about the store specifically. I mean, that may bring in some people, but most people just tune a lot of that
let's
stuff
do it,
out
man.
anyway.
I mean,
put you in a Batman costume. I see Brock in a Robin costume. That'd be fucking awesome.
But it's so expensive.
I mean,
not the production. You just got to pay for the advertising.
You did the Groupon thing, even. I mean, around
Groupon
here.
was abysmal.
And
but that was not worth it. Though.
Yeah, and that was horrible. But it's like you said, small press. Yeah, you can do your advertising and so on and so forth. But I mean, what does a big push for advertising for comic books in other mediums really do? I mean, I heard the bit on, the radio this weekend, but being in the industry, I was like, I ignored it, and most people are going to ignore the commercials. Are programmed to ignore commercials anyway.
I think the comic book industry is such a closed industry. You almost have to be in it.
Stefano himself gave a rare example of a case where he saw the advertising for New 52, and it caught him to go into a comic store.
Really?
He bought Flashpoint, which is the first comic he ever bought, and now drops a not insignificant amount of money with me every single month.
What advertisement was that? What drove him? Where?
DC did advertising on TV pre-New 52.
No, they did?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I think it is so expensive.
Did Stefano not read comics before?
No,
I'm just kind of curious. Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't. He can write in and let us know what his exposure to comics was prior to that. But this is a rare example.
Is that when the DC had their DC Hour thing when it was Young Justice and Green Lantern when they were trying to do
those ads were on it?
Yeah, was it like when they were trying to put that hour DC block and then they had the interviews in between? Okay, I could see that pushing people into the stores.
Sure,
though.
But
that was a good call.
They had ads straight up on other channels.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
There was ads on actual channels. ABC had, I think, is where I saw.
I didn't see any of those.
I don't think it was ABC, but it was Sci-Fi. Yeah.
They must not play them during basketball.
Central. It was a lot of cable channels. I don't think it was like ABC, NBC, CBS.
No, I saw it on there because I didn't have cable at the time.
Maybe.
So
there's
I saw
NBA All-Star comic book.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I've seen it on the CW.
Yeah.
With New 52 heroes and Kenny Charles and EJ.
It was on a regular one.
I want to see that.
So
sorry, guys.
Either way. For the most part, I firmly believe advertising comic books is not going to... I mean, if you want to advertise one specific book, the Watchmen movie is out, go buy the Watchmen trade. Okay, I kind of get that. But advertising Marvel Comics, I don't think is going to get people in, because they're going to come in and see a wall of 5,000 books, a bunch of weird numbers. I mean, this is a bigger problem in comic books in general. Advertising is just a small part of it.
Yeah, but sometimes all you need to do, sorry, Charlie, for jumping in, is just get them in the door. Because once they're in the door and they hear the conversations, especially on a date like a Wednesday or Thursday when things are it's pretty hustle and bustle in the shop.
Do more events like Isotope. Come on, Ryan.
No, I mean, I think the bigger problem is getting people to the comic books. It's not that they won't buy them when they're there. And this is why a lot of people are like, return the newsstand, which is never going to happen because it's too price prohibitive. No. But when people are at the comic shops, that's cool. It's just comic shops are, as a whole, a small niche product.
We just need Dean Cain to do a birthday cake here and start giving them away to people.
I think a big part of it is I think that I think for me when I listen to that radio ad, it was not personalized for the Bay Area. It wasn't personal. I mean, it's on our radio station in a local radio station.
How would they personalize it to the Bay Area?
But the thing is they sat there and they were like, you can look up your local comic book store through us.
Yeah, but
instead of putting it out there and going, these are your local comic book shops.
There's way too many though. What are they going to list, like 30 comic book stores?
There's not that
down?
many comic book stores.
Yes, they are. There's like 5-6 of them, like within 5 feet from here. Well, not that bad, but you know my point.
In general, you would open up such a can of worms naming shops, because then certain shops are going to be like, why wasn't I named? Why was this?
Well, worse than that, you can't name a shop in an advertisement unless they agree to it and everything like that. Plus, what if you put someone ahead of another person? You forget someone's out of business. Someone's actually not. If they just go by what Diamond says, Diamond has accounts of shops that aren't shops. Yeah. They're buying clubs that don't have a physical location, and that's technically against Diamond's terms of service. But that's beside the point. So it's a really tricky thing. I just think traditional advertising won't, for the most part, will not recoup, because obviously, why didn't DC keep doing it? It clearly did not give them enough numbers.
So I have one case where I actually disagree.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
This is a very, very targeted case where I disagree. I do think it's stupid not to have advertisements for the Ultimate Spider-Man comic with Ultimate Spider-Man on TV, or the My Little Pony comic with My Little Pony on TV.
Here's the problem. You're going to advertise something that sells 20,000, 10,000 copies, and you're going to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for that advertising.
Okay.
It is not cost prohibitive.
As far as I'm concerned, considering Disney owns Spider-Man, Disney owns the channel Ultimate Spider-Man's airing on.
But you still have to pay for the production, and you still have to pay for advertising time and all that. Like, even if it's a company that you own.
The money they spend at that and putting into Avengers movie gets them way more money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one Marvel movie makes more money than all of comic books all year. Like, there is no reason to advertise, because the amount of money is not the amount of money the comic industry takes in is like $500 million a year, which sounds like, oh my god, that's so much money, but that's nothing.
But I guess just to sort of carry this forward a little bit more and stuff, at the beginning of movies on DVD that you buy and Blu-rays that you buy, I've seen numbers of times them advertising the video game based on it, the soundtrack based on it.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well do the comic book based on it.
Exactly.
Or that the movie is based on.
That is a time where it probably would work, because this is something that's produced by them. It's just a really short thing. They're not paying extra for advertising. They're not paying cable companies. They're not paying all this other stuff. Plus, as we know, that is a time where I think it could work. Right, absolutely.
And especially when you get into stuff like Justice League War, which is based on a comic book people could go buy.
They should just had like the first issue on the DVD.
Generally,
they've had that for some stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, realistically, you could flat out say, and this story is based on this book, go pick it up, and other stories by this same creative team.
Yeah, they dropped a lot of that in the special behind the scenes Blu-ray version and everything. That is so awesome. I love that stuff, because that's like the best part of the. I mean you can watch the movie. You can download it. Whatever.
That's the best place to put it too, because people that are interested enough to go watch are most likely people that will go into the store and pick a book up.
But I would rather have to sit through a quick thing at the beginning that sort of reminds people it's a comic, rather than. Because I hate to say it, I get the impression there is a very small percentage of people who really delve over the special features on something like this.
No, I agree.
And that's probably the people who read the comics anyways.
Do The Walking Dead ever advertise their books during Walking Dead? Not really.
No.
It's really during Talking Dead that Chris brings up that it's based on a comic or stuff is out of the comics. But other than that, there's no word of it.
And we're really not programmed, I think, in this day and age, to really sit down and have pages flipping in front of us. We're more about sitting in front of things and pressing buttons or touching things with our fingers on a screen and getting instant gratification from something that we can all talk about with other people. That is a mainstream consciousness where everyone's like a movie, TV, film. And that's where the money is, obviously, because that's where the masses are.
All right, a video game is $60. A comic book is $3. What are they going to advertise?
No. The comic book is $3 for life if it's good.
No, but I mean, they're advertising a $3 product.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you're
it's
Coca-Cola,
$3 every. It's kind of the Coca-Cola thing. Then, if you want to bring that up,
but
it's trying to give crack to little kids and have them hooked.
But it is, if Coke was selling, do you see advertisements for what's some fucking low? I don't know. What's it like? Jones Soda. Sure, that's probably as close as I can think of. It's a very specialized market, sold in very specialized locations that occasionally gets kind of popular, but for the most part, no one drinks it and probably sells. It sells reasonably, but you're not going to see TV advertisement for Jones Soda. It's cool, it's awesome, and I love it, but it's not carried in most locations. And if they wanted to advertise locally group comic shops and get people to acknowledge that these things actually exist, that would probably bring me more people. They'd be like, go buy Marvel comics at a Marvel shop, at a comic shop that you don't know where it is, like Brock said earlier.
But I think we should do that on our own, though, which is do like viral videos and stuff like that.
Stores can, and I mean, I've had...
Screw the other stores. It's all about us.
We've done that, and here's exactly where I come from. So we had Groupon, and Groupon brought in a bunch of awful customers that never spent any money past the Groupon.
And they really didn't want to spend any more money either. They were like, I want my deal. Give me my free comic book.
I've advertised in the Penny Saver, which brought in, if anyone's familiar, it's like a daily like coupon book that brought in 0 coupons. 0.
Yes.
Okay. I advertised in the Metro, which is a local kind of hipster paper.
Yeah. I have experience with the Metro.
I got 1 coupon back from them. Right. So I mean, you don't know how many eyes are seeing them.
You've invested in actual Friday Night Clicks, which has sold out 3 weeks in advance for our Realms Open Championship, which on the regular could bring in some money after hours, time where you're usually not closed. Thank you, Marshall.
Yep.
Ryan has invested in the nightly podcasts.
These are the type of local, specialized, aimed at a specific audience. The podcast makes me way more money than any sort of actual advertisement will. So, I mean, other examples. So every year we do our big ad with all the local shops for Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
And I get a lot of returns for that.
Yeah.
From the ads or the people that come in that say, we saw the ads. And they never come back until the next Free Comic Book Day. Now, that is a very profitable day for us because we have no sales. We have like buy 5 free comics, 5 more free with any purchase, and almost everyone buys something. But the amount of actual money spent per customer is so low. It's just a lot of customers all day.
Yeah.
And that is an example where
but people don't know you have to pay for those books.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is an example of we actually get a special deal with the local papers that have a giant 2-page ad in the paper of like 6 stores that get together.
Yeah.
I can't do that on a weekly basis by myself. And then they give us that price as a special because we've been doing it for so long with them. I've tried other local advertising. None of it works. Now that just could be us.
Facebook advertising too?
Facebook is interesting because you're actually you see a lot. You get actual numbers of how many eyeballs have seen your ad, and not like an estimated 50 million people will buy the Metro, but maybe 5 people actually flip to the garbage section I am next to all the porn ads in the back.
They actually got past the pot shops.
Right, exactly. Facebook is an example where I think that it's cheap enough, and I do get enough hits based off of it, and how much of that translates to sales, I don't know, but I do advertise their sales and stuff. And that is something that I can specialize and aim at a specific audience, a tech audience, a bit of a younger audience, people that are more interested.
With Twitter, Facebook, with social media, those are better avenues for
I think they
advertising and so on and so forth.
I think they are, and they're free. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Your time.
Do you think it's legal to give out like your quarter books out like at lines at movies?
I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
It depends. I've had some theaters say it's totally fine. I've had others that said no, you can't do that.
No, really?
So yeah,
you slap a sticker on the back and just hand them out?
Yeah. We did that, and I got a couple back, but not many. Yeah, again, it's
as long as you're not giving out Evangeline to like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean
with a condom inside of it.
When Free Comic Day started, the first couple of years of Free Comic Day, we'd go out to the movies and hand out stuff, and then we kind of got gruff from a few times. We asked a few times, and they're like, "No, you can't do it." So we just stopped.
Well, we need you to dress up as Batman and Brock as Robin, and just run around with a flag that says "Comics Conspiracy." I mean, that would get people in.
I mean,
or not.
I think people that know advertising can talk to this more than we can, but I think advertising is in a very tough position these days.
I think it also advertising. I mean, going on to advertising in the actual comic books. those are even horrible in itself.
Well, there are no ads in comic books anymore. It's just all house ads.
Well, it's house ads, but the house ads even are horrible because
Charlie's giving me the eyeball. There are DC doesn't have ads anymore, except for the back cover.
All I'm going to say is,
And Marvel has a couple.
Do see ads for some of the larger like shop chains and stuff in there.
No, that's for comic book stores. Yeah, no, I'm talking ads for like, here's an ad for Audi in your comic.
Oh no, I'm not.
Civic.
I'm not
Happens
talking about
very
that. I'm just
rarely.
talking about sort of the advertisement for a shop. The only ones you see
Right.
that for
Midtown.
is yeah.
But the thing I'm talking about is that the advertising even in the books is a prime example of them not really knowing what to do. In that Batman Hush statue that's coming out at the end of this month, the Batman Kiss Jim Lee whatever, right? They just started advertising it this month. Like, you didn't see any prior advertisement. Like, I've talked to a few customers that are like,
but that's
holy crap, if I had known about this, I would have ordered it.
No, that doesn't work because you can't advertise a product 6 months or 9 months before release with how.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna have everybody and their mom coming in. I want to buy this. It's not out yet. What do you mean it's not out yet?
Right, they don't understand that you have to advertise the product and trust the retailer who stocked it, so they can't do that.
Have you ever said like or done something kind of fun? Which I know you probably sway away from it because of the everyday fun that you have with the high school kids across the street. But printed up like 100 shirts, sent Comics Conspiracy, just give them out to everybody like during lunchtime.
They've asked like, oh, we want to have like we want to put Comic Conspiracy on our shirt for a football game to shoot them into the crowd and all. I'm like, no,
no, because how many of those guys actually read comics?
No, but that's the thing though.
But you
And
wanna-
they don't. But they're wearing the shirt. That's free shirt. That's they feel cool. High school kid is pretty poor. They're walking around with the shirt, and other people see it.
I think
walking billboards.
I think
Hence,
I think-
hence the Joel Silver new age of NBA with all the supposed jerseys. You're gonna have billboards. They're gonna be walking billboards.
Horrible. No, I don't want that to happen.
I think that actually would scare people away because they'd see a high school kid wearing a Comics Conspiracy shirt and they go, well, I don't want to go there if they go there.
yeah, all these crackheads out there.
I mean, I work with high school kids.
Again, I think that sort of thing works for specific maybe stores or if you're like a band or something and you kind of want to. I could see that kind of working, but I just don't see that.
We're not
working.
Kevin Smith. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I guess not.
I mean, stuff like Comic Book Men to me is horrible advertising for comic book stores.
Yeah.
It sends really the wrong message.
Well, that's why they're placed on the midnight.
We know every time when Comic Book Man is on when Ryan gets some weird customers.
It's on at midnight. Okay, that means no one's watching it.
right.
That means it's going to be off air. Sorry, Walter. You're a cool guy.
Well, they were saying like, oh, it's on after. They're like, oh, it's on after Walking Dead. I'm like, it's on after like the third repeat of Walking Dead that night. Like they show it like 3 times or something, don't they?
Just
well,
like
you know
guys.
what's selling then? It's
guy.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
But he had his shot
should
at
be-
comics.
You should be getting toys this week because I guess they sold a $10,000 toy or bought a toy for
What?
$10,000 this episode.
Oh, whatever. I don't
Who
care.
cares? But talking
gonna
about toys,
see it. I knew-
though,
I knew
there's
we-
some cool toys coming out. The Dustin Nguyen toys are coming out. We got
Yeah.
some Batman animated new toys are coming out. They're
Oh,
looking
yeah.
fly as
wait,
hell.
Yeah,
Those are
they
the
look
ones-
pretty sick.
Yeah.
The Batman Little Gotham toys.
The Little
Dustin
Gothams are
Nguyen.
coming out.
Yeah.
The animated Batman, the Bruce Timm,
Yeah.
Paul Dini stuff is coming out.
Those-
Was like they look good.
They look just like the Young Justice pieces too.
Those are the ones with
no.
crotch shots all over Twitter and
25.
Facebook.
Hopefully not.
right?
Hopefully not $25
and we got some
unavailable
really
anywhere.
nice Masters of the Universe. We got some really rare Filmation Madame Rasmatas come in. I'm really glad about that. And
I am so over all these
we
toys.
got some Princess of Power.
I am beyond. I mean, I had a little. I saw all this Toy Fair stuff, and man,
You don't want no Ninja Turtles
and-
with nose holes?
Hasbro had their big announcements and stuff like that, dude. Fuck these toy companies. They're $25, $30, short packed. We're back to the horrible days. I mean, Marvel Legends were like $7.99 when we started carrying them. Now
they're
anything
like
that
24?
25, yeah.
Yeah.
Forget all of these toys. I hate them all. Like I'm so over.
Isn't it hilarious how they're doing the superpowers and they're all just the same sculpts but they're repaints?
Yeah,
and they're so you can get Calabac. I'm like, dude, who's gonna really get that?
Such-
a lot of people I know.
Yeah, it's such garbage. I'm so over this stuff. I love toys. I'd rather spend $200 on a hot toy. I'd rather buy a statue.
A hot toy.
Sure, hot toys.
I know
Yeah,
what
hot
you
toys.
mean. I just thought it was funny how you said it.
Because you have 700 points of articulation with Hot Toys versus 10.
You could
Yeah,
move your pinky.
these mass market toys are $25, and Target and Walmart and Toys R Us don't carry them, and the guys in the back room are eBaying cases off the back off the
bullshit. I
truck.
always hated that shit.
Forget the whole thing. It's burn them all. Like, it's awful. I hate it. I'll never carry toys again.
Speaking of burning, what about zombies?
What about zombies?
Like, we're going to talk about Walking Dead a little bit?
Oh god, we're running so long. Yeah, talk about Walking Dead. Go ahead.
You started it.
It's on you,
Where
Omar.
to start? Really? Oh, wait. I thought you were going to say Toby.
Come on, you're in the hot
Walking
seat
Dead.
now.
Hold on. Say Toby. Say.
Toby, talk about Walking Dead.
Okay, since I've been talking about so many things, I'm gonna just pass it off to Omar. Boom!
Oh, my God. It's just so incredible to finally see Maggie again running around, looking good. Love Australia. Everyone's shaking their head right now. I have no reason why. It was sad to not see Michonne in the episode, but, obviously we went through, the main stars of the show supposedly, quote unquote, got their time last week, and now we can see what everybody else is doing. And damn, Glenn looks pretty badass as the Dark Knight, I gotta say.
That's the action figure.
Oh, dude, I'm getting that toy.
Yeah.
I'm getting slanty-eyed Batman. I'm gonna get that shit. I can't wait. What? It's true. I love. I've said it to many friends today. I was talking about going on hikes, being active during the day. It's such beautiful weather in the Bay Area.
With zombies?
No, with the homies.
Oh.
All the same homies, and talking about how
slang costumes?
now it's kind of more of like an ensemble cast format of storytelling. And I can see how potentially if they do open it up to 2 different episodes of Walking Dead, how they can tell it, because there's so many different characters that people love and care about. Being in different places around Georgia still, I guess. I don't know.
I tend to think that's very good for a short amount of time, but you have to bring the cast back together.
You have to pull an Avenger.
Yeah. But they're bringing new people in. I mean, we got the was it the sergeant? What's his name? Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
and he looked straight up like from the comics.
Yeah, that was good. And they actually brought the comic
dude,
out.
straight up, like it was almost laughable.
We're beyond where I've read in the comics at this point, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, for me though, the thing that really, really, really shocked me this episode is the fact the baby's alive.
That was a cool reveal, though.
The baby was torn. Like, there was no point that you didn't think the baby was alive. In the finale of the last season, they clearly, or in the last half bit, they show someone pick up the baby. I don't remember who. Yes, they do. They 100% show someone.
It was one of the kids.
Baby.
Yeah, it was one of the kids.
And
No,
then,
the kids left the baby.
They show someone with the baby, and then they have. I'm not crazy.
No,
and then later
you
they
are
show.
crazy, though.
Then later they show the empty thing, and I'm like, well, the other person has it. They already showed.
No,
that.
what you saw was the kids taking the baby, and they had her in the carrying thing, and then when it cuts back, that's the only thing you see is the carrying thing.
Yeah,
there was
because
never
the kids had the baby.
No, they didn't take the baby out. They had the baby in the.
There was
in the
never a
carrier.
chance that the baby wasn't there.
All right, guys, settle down. It was cool as hell that Cuddy had the baby. It's, you got the giant big guy with 3 little kids, 2 kids and a baby. I thought that was a good group dynamic. Mm-hmm. You got the innocent girl with that badass Daryl. I thought that was a good dynamic. You got the father-son thing. You got all these cool group dynamics that really work for me here. So it does give a whole new, fresh take to this series, I think. So I really like where they're going with this.
See, I just thought the baby was dead because of the comics.
I thought the baby was going to die and turn into a zombie and then bite that little annoying kid.
Which one?
And I would have loved it. I would have said, yes!
The serial killer?
No, because she was like
one
holding
that-
her breath. She was holding
the
the
one that
baby's
killed
breath.
her.
I thought it was-
Serial killer.
Yeah, serial killer.
There you go, serial killer.
Sociopath is
Yes.
what's called, right?
Sure.
I'm learning.
And then we got Activia girl back. It's awesome.
All right. There you go. There's one.
Showing her cleavage and everything.
I think Charlie said it best.
Too much, Omar. Too much.
The going back and forth and seeing where everybody is going to come together works because, we saw.
The minute you break him up, instantly gives some new sides to the characters.
Well,
you got Cuddy.
yeah.
I don't think his name is Cuddy in the show. What's his name? The big guy?
Tyrese.
Tyrese. He was Cuddy on The Wire, see? So he's coming back. Anyways, but I like the different dimensions. The minute you break him up and group him up when what you don't think would work, gives them new direction.
And they all get their shine.
No, I agree with you that splitting up the group is a good move at this point for the show.
It gives them a
It's
fresh
evolved.
take.
But just like when you had sort of the governor's town and the prison, you need a intersect those stories. You can't sort
Yes.
of like keep Glenn and Maggie separated long term. You can't.
Yeah. Eventually,
like,
you have to come in.
We kind of saw this on Lost. Is
when you
it's
have to face
really,
the other
really
side.
Cool when you can sort of split things up and sort of do something fresh, but you really have to be careful not to do it too long, because if you sort of string out for too many episodes, keeping these people apart, it doesn't quite work.
But at the same time, it does lengthen some lives, especially in a show like this where it's based on, just like Game of Thrones, them dying. Because every character is eventually going to die for the most part. I mean, I think.
And speaking of going on too long, we've gone on too long.
Oh, we're doing the Lord of the Rings?
We're going to wrap this episode up.
We have another topic.
We'll continue this next week.
4 endings.
Yeah. We want to talk about the Hobbits now.
We'll have lots more to say about Walking Dead.
They'll jump up and down in bed.
What's there, 6 episodes left? All right, is it 8 and 8?
6 episodes of Common Conspiracy left?
Probably.
What?
No, Walking Dead.
Oh.
I think there's 6 left. That sounds right. I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll find out. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
I was here anyway.
Yeah, I was here too. If you would like to hear this episode again, or all our other episodes, you can go to geekbox.net. Forums at geekbox.net is where you can talk to us. The Geekbox Facebook group, you can go on there. As well as send us send us email at our contact form. Yeah, it's on geekbox.net. You can send us email direct, thecomicspiracy at geekbox.net. A lot of stuff at geekbox.net. Go there. It's fun stuff. Go to the forums. Go talk about comics. No one else does. We're on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager. Omar is Comics and Decline. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity in Chaos. Brock's got his blog at conspiratobrock.com. Omar has Comics and Decline. That's his blog. Charlie's got the Infinite Longbox podcast and Wonders in 4D. Wanderers in 4D.
In the fourth dimension.
Okay,
just go to
get that shit right, Ryan.
4d.libsyn.com. Wanderin4d.libsyn.com.
Change the name of your podcast to something that says Doctor Who in the title so people know what it's about.
The official name is much longer on iTunes and has Doctor Who in it.
There you go. Okay, that's the one I want to know. The Doctor Who podcast that Charlie does, featuring talking about Doctor Who from the very beginning, once a week, every episode in order, including the ones that don't actually have film. So that's fun times.
We did our first one of those with Marco Polo.
Fantastic.
We recorded that recently. So.
I heard he's an asshole, so there you go.
And then you want to make sure to, if you get a chance, grab Gotham City Sirens Union.
Yes.
For our comic book club.
Yes, Omar's comic book pick of the pick of the month.
Gotham City Sirens, meow.
Yeah, the first arc for 7 issues. If you're buying them digitally, because the trades are currently unavailable. But if you have the issues or you have the trades, go pick that up. Union is that the trade?
Union's the first.
Right.
It's for 7 on Comixology. It's $13.93.
Yeah, if you have the trade paperback, you can go read that, and we'll talk about that. I think next week.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week. So
Is we gonna have Omar like 3 weeks in a row?
Sweet.
Yeah, that's new.
There you go. I think that's it. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's where you can go pick up those comics if you want, as well as all your other digital comics that are coming out, which are good stuff. So join us next week as we talk about Gotham City Sirens and all sorts of other comic book stuff. See you next week.